So this relationship with Antilife, like, I don't want to say I loved you, but I think I may have been infatuated with you. And I have to say, I'm going to have to leave the relationship now.
I'm going to be like, look, it's not you, it's me. Look, I can't do this no more. It's me. I've changed. You just keep doing you. That's how I feel.
I don't feel like it can keep doing itself. I think like Antilife has to move to the background, reduce its influence in my life, and let me imprint into my field something that's more supportive, that will help me grow and evolve so that I can be all of the life that I can be. But I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, you just want to recover.
Selin fei cavacodo sin Texas.
So I cut watermelon for my kids, and they're all bringing it right back, saying they don't like the texture. I've seen enough videos of people posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubbery watermelon.
What would you say if I told you that the U.S. has been wasting over $247 billion of taxpayer money every single year? If you're somebody who regularly follows me, you're probably like, yeah, we already knew. But let's look at some of the stuff they're wasting it on. So it's mostly wasted on what they're calling improper payments. And this is directly from the Government Accountability Office. In actuality, the U.S. government has lost almost $2.4 trillion in simple payment errors over the last 2 decades. The government has just lost it, as if they dropped it on the sidewalk.
Welcome to Call for the Truth. We are here today to discuss our relationship with what is going on in our world, our relationship with Antilife. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun, and we will be delving into this relationship. Is this a love affair, or is this, what kind of relationship is this that we're having with what's going on in our world and what's been going on in our world for a long time? So would you begin by bringing us into the truth, by calling for the truth, so that we can all be on the same page?
All right, so I encourage you all who are tuning in, join us in this meditative call for the truth. Shall we call forth the frequency of truth to come forth? Shall we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Shall we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? And so now in the frequency of truth, we are talking about, as you said, our relationship specifically with what we've referred to as anti-life.
Anti-life, those things that are against life, those things that are against evolution, those things that are against progress, those things that are against humanity, nature, food, Mother Earth. I could go on.
Yeah, so we, obviously, for those who are viewing, we use this language a lot. Choose life, or that's anti-life right there. What does that mean? So we can lay a little bit of foundation.
The idea of creation is the idea of promoting of life. And we are all examples of the promotion of life from creation, as well as living on a planet that promotes and grows life with other fauna and flora that is a promotion of life. And so everything in our world, the water, the air, the earth itself, the sun, everything in our experience is one that promotes life in its proper conditions. And the things that are moving us away from life are also ultimately to promote life. So a storm comes and it moves things out of the way so that new things can grow. So it's still this continuous cycle of life. So we're in this relationship with life, and into our relationship there has something has always been here, an irritant that is against life, that wants to cut down all the trees, that wants to poison all the food, that wants to fill us with pharmaceuticals, that wants to put different things with disrespect into the body of the creation that we are. So that is what we're referring to as anti-life. And we have been in an intimate relationship with it, almost like a marriage, with this level of anti-life. And I can even remember, as I gave birth to children, my relationship with the process of going into the hospital and having to leave in 24 hours and having to have a baby on the doctor's time and not having the necessary opportunity to move into the space. I remember that relationship with anti-life when I had children, and I wanted to divorce it then. So I chose other methods after having had that experience. I'm sure we all have many experiences with our parents, with our grandparents, with our school systems that all bring to mind this thing that does not support life, that's pervasive in our experience. Do you have that same idea?
Yes. So to elaborate a little further on what you were sharing, so it looks like within the human experience, behind many of our choices is life and then anti-life. Whether it's the genetic makeup of the biology, the trees you mentioned, our relationship with all the different natural resources that are here. But again, something is present that is moving us in the opposite direction of growth, expansion, truth, freedom, all things that promote life.
Right.
And it's deep, because I think that, not just think, I can see that there are so many, it's, you know how I say, we're so conditioned, even our conditioning has been conditioned.
Yeah.
That things that we think give life are in actuality anti-life.
Yeah.
You know, certain foods that I like this food, this is good, but in reality it's processed and it's not doing anything for you. You know, so it's just that MSG that's tricking your brain. You know, telling people about that, you know, that umami. But again, this idea of, we have been in a relationship with this force, this energy called anti-life influencing our choices. And how has that been working out for us? And,
Yeah.
you know, I could tell you, like, it's a world full of suffering. Looking back in my own experience, like, for example, making choices that are rooted in guilt, self-punishment. We were talking about this earlier this morning on one of our phone calls, and how that does not promote life. It makes you weak.
Yes.
When you operate or engage with life from that level of consciousness. And, you know, choosing life means, like, I'm going to operate up here and higher. You know, I'm not going to allow something from the past to dictate my present. And so this idea of anti-life, like, where do we start with removing ourselves from it? And, like, because it literally looks like a relationship. Like, we've been in a marriage, we've been in a very long relationship. And you know how when people are in these long relationships, it's as if you get comfortable and complacent. You know they're not treating you right. You know they stepping out in the evening, going with someone else, you know. But we're still here. Is it time to release this relationship, or what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm going back to when I was a child and the beginning of my understandings, falling in love with Sears catalog for Christmas presents, falling in love with candy, falling in love with things that did not support my well-being, you know, things that affected my health, things that made me have to go and have medicine and have other things done. So I think we all have relationships with a variety of different things that we think are life. We think, oh, that's the life. I want to see that on television. That's the life I want. Those are the clothes I want. These are the gifts I want. This is the holiday I want to participate in, and my birthday is an honored day. All of these are ideas that we're very accustomed to and we like, and we feel like that's life. But is that life? And then do we take those ideas and then force people to behave as if it is something that it is not? Do we think then that our birthday is a national holiday that everybody should participate in? Do we think that eating candy is a sustainable idea? Do we think that whatever, whether you smoke cigarettes or you smoke pot or you have a recreational drug of choice, is that life? I know I hear from my clients a lot, it's really about their migraines, that that the reason they're doing this is because
it takes away my headaches and my glaucoma be acting up. Let me not claim that. But
so there's a lot of things that we, like, what do you mean not my birthday? We can't celebrate. Of course you can celebrate birthdays, but have you fallen in love with this idea that everyone who you will meet for the rest of your life now is an indentured servant to your birthday or to Mother's Day or to Father's Day or to whatever erroneous holiday, to Halloween? Do you really think Halloween promotes life? The skeletons, the demons, the darkness surrounding that? Do you really think that Easter is about rabbits laying eggs and hiding them? This idea of people coming down chimneys and showing up in your house with things. I mean, when we think about our relationship with all of these bizarre ideas, and we take these and we covet them, we're like, this is just fun for the children, and then we grow up and we're walking around with witch hats on and pretending that this is our alter ego and this is what life is, when in fact, life is something more than that promotes evolution, growth, and exaltation in us, and none of these things do. So we're in this relationship, and I think it's time to get a divorce. I can see that I thought my relationship with the Antilife in my life was devoted to me, but I see that the Antilife in my life is really having a relationship with another country. It's really taken my money and giving it to someone else quite recklessly. And the things that we have decided on, I have pledged allegiance to, don't mean anything. We were supposed to be deaf to each other part. And instead, I see that you are gaslighting me. And my relationship with the Antilife that's in my life is saying, well, there's nothing wrong with the bees. The bees are just fine. You don't need to have bees. There's nothing wrong with the food. Watermelons explode sometimes. There's nothing wrong with the things in the salmon from the, wild caught that are crawling out of it on your plate. There's nothing wrong. You are, delusional. You just line up and get the next prescription that we recommend for you. So that's what this has grown into. We accept so much. We go along the authority, and we have all accepted this level of authority in our life, from education to medical to governmental to our intimate desires for what we think is real and what we think is not real. So all of these things I've mentioned are things that I know people who are totally devoted to these ideas of holidays and birthdays and what someone in a white coat or an authority person says. But are we looking at how are you actually being treated? Are you being respected? Are you being honored? Are you being given the proper the proper attention that you would need as a human to another human? Are you being treated like a Social Security number? So what does that mean? So I'm not sure how your relationship with it is, but.
Well, I want to expound a little bit on some of the examples that you gave. Speaking about holidays, to each his own, right? I want to start off with that out of respect. However, but one of the things that I have noticed is that our participation is usually rooted within a type of suffering. Where, for example, if it's maybe a birthday or it's like a Christmas or Thanksgiving, we may often go against our better judgment, where we know we don't want to go over there with our family, but everyone's trying to force and convince us, and you already know how it goes. It's going to be some family drama. But you go against your better judgment and you go anyway. And of course, it plays out with suffering. But it's all in the name of it's family holiday. Same with Christmas. People are buying gifts that maybe they're not financially in the space to do it. But because of the press of not only their children, but the influence on their children and society at large and all the advertisements and the guilt that will come with, oh, if I don't get so-and-so a gift. This is even Valentine's Day. We saw that not too long ago. Where it's the press of, you got to show me on this one day that you love me because everybody else is doing it. And if you don't do it for me, then that means you don't love me and I'm going to be mad at you. And all of that is anti-life behavior. None of that everybody's weak in that experience. Everybody's suffering. The person who's pressing, the person who wants to receive, the person who's the so-called giver, everyone participating at that level is engaged and influenced in anti-life. And so
this is the relationship with anti-life. This is the marriage that we have committed to. This is the courtship that we are in.
Yeah.
This is the I will do for you if you do for me. If you pretend that what I'm saying is correct, I'll pretend that what you're saying is correct. And then we can pretend we're having a good time.
Yeah, but this is what I was saying about how our relationship with anti-life, it mirrors relationships that we've been in that, maybe you've been in it for like 5-6 years and you've just kind of normalized to the abuse. And like, dang, I invested all this time and energy. I'm not trying to just get up and walk away. And when we both know that this is not working, maybe anti-life is like, no, I'm getting what I need.
I think it goes beyond being in a several-year relationship. Our whole lives have been in a relationship with anti-life, and our parents' lives and their parents' lives. However, we're at the point where it has become dangerous for us to continue because now our food is contaminated, our medical circumstance is at risk, our air is hard to breathe, our children are at risk. So this relationship with anti-life, I don't want to say I loved you, but I think I may have been infatuated with you. And I have to say, I'm going to have to leave the relationship now.
I'm going to be like, look, it's not you, it's me. Look, I can't do this no more. It's me. I've changed. You just keep doing you. That's how I feel.
I don't feel like it can keep doing itself. I think anti-life has to move to the background, reduce its influence in my life, and let me imprint into my field something that's more supportive, that will help me grow and evolve so that I can be all of the life that I can be. But I get it. I get what you're saying. You just want to recover.
Well, it's more like it's not you, it's me. This is my response to walking away. Look, I'm not going to try to change anti-life from being anti-life. I'm going to change, what that looks like in my life, like real time, is growing food now. I'm going to have to show y'all a picture, insert something in, but it's looking robust. And I'm feeling myself. And I'm also like, this is easy. I've been in this relationship with these oligarchs and corporations, depended on them, and they poisoning the food. And
oh, you're in a relationship with ultra processed foods and powders. And
not no more. That's over. That's over. So, and I was like, look, it's not you. Well, it kind of is, but it's me. I've changed. I have found that I am no longer dependent and that this relationship is serving me. So I choose to exit. You can stay where you are. And through that choice of not supporting, it needs me, or it needs us to continue giving it life support, so to say.
Be-Bration. We are a universal remedy of support, an ally infused with positive frequencies and biophotonic light particles, intended to return one to the greater whole of one's organic nature. Within our layered structure exists an opportunity for metamorphosis, prompting divine healing energies of light to awaken your original composition, that which has been irritated by inorganic substances through mental, emotional, and physical material. We are navigators, those who operate by way of your conscious thought and directive, exponentially moving to the physical areas of stuck emotion within the body that are in need of restoration. When engaged with us, we identify and mirror the called upon frequencies of lower vibratory notion for it to see itself in transmutation, while awakening that which is dormant to shift into the rectification of optimum balance and functionality. Absolutely. I think that's really the main point of our discussion today, is that Antilife is a parasite, and that you can host it if you want to at varying levels and degrees. Like maybe some of the things that I've mentioned are not things that you're ready to step off from, but at varying levels and degrees, how attached are you to the artificial constructs that have made us weak, or that make us feel like someone else owes us something, when in fact, we owe ourselves life. We owe ourselves the choice you're making. It's really about each of us. Do we choose to continue down this path of others making decisions for us about things that are it is our right and our ability to make our own decisions about? How is it that we can blame someone else when we won't take authority and responsibility for ourselves?
I think that's such a major key.
So if you are all about your birthday, be all about your birthday.
Right.
If you are all about Christmas, then you be all about Christmas. If you're all about whatever it is, then please stop from making all of us have to be all about it.
And you can fill in the blanks with all the different other categories, because we're just using holidays.
Yes.
But there are so many categories of the human experience where we're trying to force someone to do something, or there's this dance with the Antilife.
Yes, it's like we want to make our children be what we think they should be, instead of making sure that they evolve each generation beyond us. Like evolution take place. It's so important that, people don't become jealous of the babies or their children. They don't become jealous of what happens, because they're not taking responsibility to be the authority in their own experience, and then celebrating growth and development in their partners or in their offspring or in the lineage, because much of that is going on. And so this is Antilife through the DNA, Antilife in the lineage, Antilife in the experience. What is it that we most want that is being marketed to us? And do we really need it? Do we need the things that are being marketed to us? Or do we need maybe to step back a step and figure out, what are our clothes made out of? Are our clothes made out of plastic? Are we washing our clothes and they're made out of plastic, and it goes into the water system, and now it's in our drinking water, and now we have blood, we have plastic in our blood? Like, what is it that we're not taking responsibility for? What's happening to the food? What's happening if you leave your vegetables out for 2 days and don't eat them right away? And then what happens when you do eat them right away? The same thing that happened when you left them out is happening inside of you. What are you being pushed into and coerced into? Who is telling you what you should do and what they're going to do to you if you don't do it? How many times are you getting a notice about your credit score? It's an imaginary thing, like calories. A credit score is an imaginary number that has been made up and imprinted into society to make you feel happy when it's high, you're happy, you're in joy, and sad when it's not.
See, this is one of my quarrels with Antilife and those governing bodies that are operating influences. So you all up in my business about my credit score. But the way how you handling money, trillions and trillions upon dollars, and you don't even know where it's at. We ask you, and you like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Sorry, I have a phone call to take. That's the type of relationships we're in. It's narcissistic. We're gaslit whenever we try to call it out. And I see where one of the best solutions in a myriad of different ways, whether it's dealing with the corporations, dealing with one-to-one people in our lives, step off. You shared this technique with me and many others where just turn your attention away, because we are animating the corporations. We're animating, keeping them alive through our awareness, our monies and investments. And the moment we look away, oh, wait, something just recently happened like that. What was it? There was something, remember we watched a video on the woman who was speaking about the different major retailers.
Oh, yes.
They realized that people are stepping off and they're not spending as much money as they did before, and now they're like a desperate partner who never treated them right, and now they're like, oh, maybe I should buy them flowers now, or maybe take them out to dinner. And what that looks like is they're creating lower prices, because they've realized since 2020 they've been spiking the prices and they never went down, and we've been dealing with it, we've been grieving, and now we're kind of just over it, and now we're looking the other way.
It's really that whole thing of you're trying to lose weight and your partner, you're depressed and sad and you're eating too much, and you confront your partner and now he brings home a cheesecake.
Like, hey, I was thinking about you when I was out, so
Yeah,
you might
I know
want a
it's
cheat meal.
I know it's 2 a.m. I've had it in the car, waiting to get it here to you. So it's the idea of turn your face the other way. We can make Antilife irrelevant in our lives.
For real.
You don't have to keep asking, would you take care of this? Would you pay this? Would you participate? Would you be fully in the relationship? Would you do your part? Would you carry your weight? You can choose to turn your face the other way, and that becomes irrelevant, and you start finding other solutions and others who are in support of growing food or helping in a co-op or living in a community or whatever is needed, babysitting. Whatever thing is needed, it can happen because there are other human beings and others who are of like-minded. So it is important to make sure that you know you have the power and the authority in your own experience to turn your face away, whatever that means.
I like to speak a little bit more on the turning your face away. Best believe they feel it. They feel it. Just like the example with the woman speaking about the retailers. They're looking at those numbers, those quarterly and annual numbers. We're not making as much. They feel it. Even in our daily experiences, people who may be abusive, people who may be mistreating you, and you're trying to make them treat you right, turn your face away. They'll feel it like, ooh, so-and-so, I'm not getting their energy anymore. It's such a powerful tool, and but we have to decide, right? The decision
is the key. Decision is key. Once you decide, all of the forces of creation will come in and support you in it. But when you're like, I'm not sure, I'm afraid, I don't know what could happen, then you stand still as long as you can stand. As long as you're able to stand still. When you decide, I'm going to move out, I'm going to take care of my children, I'm going to make sure I have a way of providing for myself, whether I have that job or not. I'm going to move forward I'm going to make pies, I'm going to sell cookies, I'm going to be of service to someone else, I'm going to take my skill set and use it with those who will appreciate, honor, and respect me. Then you have made a decision. You have become the authority in your own experience. You are the responsible party, and you can achieve great things.
I want to touch on something that I saw in what you were sharing. It's as if the force of Antilife, in its many iterations of the human experience, has created this type of situation of codependency, where it's tricked us to think that we need it to survive. And as you were sharing the example of like the mother who corrals herself to move in a new direction, like I could see where, like, I saw this meme where it said the universe is so in support of you. It's going to support you in your right decisions and your self-destructive decisions. It's going to continue to support you in the choice that you're making of being in this codependent relationship, and it'll support you the moment you decide to step off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The key to that is that it's so important to recognize that you are the decision maker in your reality. You have manifested through every choice that was already made, everything that's happening, even if the actual events are unintended. You still chose each step of the way. You said, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll be with you. Yes, I'll take your abuse. Yes, I will do without. Yes, and then you're confronted with the reality you've created, but you made it, you can unmake it.
Yes.
You can, I like to say you're so free that you put yourself in bondage. You're so free. You are such a free creation, and you're operating in free will that you are free to imprison and enslave yourself, put yourself in bondage through your choices. And you can choose your way out of it. You can choose your way out of it. And one of the techniques would be to turn your face away and not argue, not fight, not try to make someone stop thinking that you did everything and now you're just being abused and you're the victim. Think, I can do something that will incrementally change my experience. And I don't have to try to force someone to do what they are not willing to do. Oh, you're not willing to do that? Works out. I'm doing something else. Oh, you don't want to do that? Oh, okay. I'm going to do this. It is every choice you have made that makes the next experience. So that doesn't apply just to this lifetime. Whatever you are doing currently in this lifetime, in this now moment, is your next lifetime. That's a very sobering thought if you're in the basement getting high and eating pizza and you've been doing that for 10 years. That's your next life is going to be a result of that type of experience. So that's my interpretation of this relationship with Antilife. So
hope that this has inspired people to make up their minds about this long relationship we've all been in at many different levels and choose life.
So we have here the Call for Truth cards, and they each have a maxim on them. And I'm going to give these cards to Tarvars to shuffle and choose a question that will be answered by the cards today. And our topic today was our relationship with Antilife. And my conclusion is divorce it. Divorce Antilife. Move on with your life. Choose something better. Turn your face away from what does not support you. And your question was?
This one jumped out, so I had to pull it. And the theme is freedom. Sacral chakra. Arising out of every choice in a free choice universe is a new potential to change the outcome.
Yes, I think that's the truth, and I hope you will all find it so too. We thank you for joining us. We will leave you with the greetings of In Lacash and Veritas, which is oneness and truth, with honor, respect, and gratitude. We encourage you to get some of that. Thank you.